Hey everyone, good morning, good evening. Am I audible? Am I audible? Can someone confirm, please?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, Kirti, thank you. So let's wait for 2 minutes, uh, just for maybe others to join. If someone is joining, else we'll start. 2 minutes. So just to set the today's topics, right? Let's discuss like what if you have any doubts or anything till now, right? Whatever we discussed, or like in case you have missed the session, you could have watched the video. So just I wanted to confirm if someone has gone through the sessions or did anyone face any problems or anything in installation of MySQL, sorry, MS SQL and other things. Power BI installation, configuration, database connections. Any problem anywhere anyone faced? Okay, I think no one tried that, right? So did you guys get a chance to try? Maybe Anusha, did you get a chance to try it out? Uh, Anusha, can you hear me? Okay, moving on to Kirti. Kirti, have you joined the session before?
Uh, Hi. Actually, this is my first session.
Okay.
Can I get the recordings for previous sessions if possible? Like if
Yeah,
I
I
wanted
think
to join.
it could you I mean what was the source you came from? You have a WhatsApp group with you?
Yes, yes, I am. I just joined this morning.
Okay, okay. So you'll have that link in that group itself. If not,
Uh,
maybe it will be shared soon if you will get
like
that
I think this is the
access.
third session, right? Like previous two sessions, they'll be sending the recordings link.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have actually been sharing it for past 2 days, I think. Maybe twice a day they do share it. So maybe you will
Oh,
get one of them soon. Yeah.
okay, okay, okay,
Maybe I'll reshare it. You can just ping in that group. Maybe I'll just reshare it.
okay, okay, sure.
Yeah. Paul?
So this is my first time joining.
Okay.
Because of the timing, right? The time is like I'm in the US time and it's
For you, so
like
you're in which
work
time zone?
period. I'm in Central Time Zone.
Okay, Central.
But this is my first time joining as well. I saw the advert online and I subscribed and I've gotten like emails, so I just want to check out like what the program is about and then the extent of knowledge and learning that is available.
Sure, sure. That's good. That's good to know. So you are joining for the first day, right? Today?
First day, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Abdulka was there in the previous sessions also. Just I mean, if am I actually pronouncing your name right? Abdulka? Abdul? Maybe. Okay. I think maybe yeah. Some audio problem. Never mind. So let's wait for two other minutes. I hope there might not have been any problems actually for the people who have not seen the sessions or had a chance to attend the previous sessions. We will connect it soon, right? After seeing the sessions or anything. If you face any issues, we can go ahead with it. Okay, so maybe let's get started. No point in wasting time, right? So uh, let's maybe give a recap of what happened till yesterday. I'll just share my screen quickly. Let me know when my screen is visible. So yeah, let me know if my screen is visible.
Uh, Hello. Do you have
Hi.
Zoom meeting or only it's a Teams meeting?
I think Teams only we do, right? I think now we are on Teams, right? Yeah. So only Teams, I
Okay.
think. Zoom we have not. I think I'm not.
Sorry, sorry,
Yeah.
I
So
not joined. This is the first day I'm joining.
no problem, no problem. Teams is okay for you, right? You are facing any problem in logging in?
Teams because this is my official team. So
You can join from your
mm,
unofficial, let's say from your browser also. That's not a problem. You can just
yes,
click on
so
the
so we can
URL,
join.
a meeting URL, and
Okay,
then
okay,
you can just yeah, you can
we
just
can join, right?
key
Yeah,
in.
I will
Ah,
try
yeah.
from that. Okay, yeah. Sorry for
Okay.
disturbing. Thank you.
No, no problem, no problem. Yeah, go ahead. I've not started yet. I just setting the scene. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So just to give a context, so as I think the screen is visible, right? It's someone confirmed already, and also my audio is fine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Anyone
Okay.
any problem? No, right? Okay. Thank you, Girish. Yeah. So till now we actually did a few basic stuff, right? We actually had installed Power BI desktop, right, on the system, and configured a few settings in the options so that the things that we do, right? We in the sense what I do and what you do, right, are in sync. So whatever I do, you can see those same options in your Power BI application. So that's such kind of option settings we had configured. Sorry. And we had set up the scene basically. We have already set up that, and we actually started importing some data files, right? So we saw the data, what we are going to work with. So we have the AdventureWorks data that we have, right? So we have multiple tables that we are going to use, right? So, and we have some calendar, customer data, then product related data, then we have sales and returns related data, right? Territory related data and other things, right? So we are going to import them one by one, depending on our, let's say, pace, right? How we'll do that. And for now, actually, we had done the import of the product tables, right? The three tables that we have. So those three tables we did using the DB setup, right? For example, we could have done it directly, obviously, but we have done that using a database setup. So I want to let you know why that we have done. Okay, that is one thing. We'll discuss that today. Okay, and that connections how it works and other things we yesterday saw in the Power Query editor, right? How we import and transform the data a little bit, right? We have not started the transforming the data, but we imported the data and did some basic, let's say, table named changes and other things, right? Yeah. So that is where we are. So we have already imported three important tables, right? Territory, basically four important tables, including territory, right? Territory is the, let's say, location related data, right? That we have. So that table we have imported. Then the product related data we have imported from the database, all the three product tables. Okay. So there's a product lookup table and the corresponding category and subcategory table. Okay. That's it. Till now, this is what we have done. And also we had seen a small demo of how to connect to a web connector, right? Using the website URL. How can we get a data in the, let's say, for example, if there's an HTML page, how can we get a table from the URL that we have, right? So that we had seen. Okay. That's it till now. That's what we have seen. Nothing great. So we have just kept the foundation stones and everything, right? So now today we'll be seeing some important, let's say, interesting topics, right? In the let's say data that we are going to bring, right? In the data import, what are the some important features, right? We'll be seeing those. So to give a recap, I mean a preface of what we are going to do. So we are going to actually uh, do some basic, let's say, data storage, going to understand the basic data storage modes. For example, there are multiple data storage modes. For example, if I'm going to work with a particular set of tables or data, right? It can come from multiple sources, right? So it can be, let's say, a flat file, for example, or a flat file, for example, is an example of data that resides in the Power BI file, right? So if I import it, it will be there in the Power BI file itself, right? In some other cases, for example, the product lookup table that we have imported from the database, right? So it can be imported at a regular basis, and we can actually, it's kind of a hybrid, right? The data lies in Power BI also, but if you want a real-time data to be there, you need to refresh it on a regular basis, right? So that kind of data is also there. And so there are some kinds of set of, let's say, data that can be imported. So there are three major data imports that happen. So just to give a, let's say, idea, one is my import mode. Okay. So basically or in other words, import data mode, right? So in this mode, it's really simple. As the name suggests itself, the data resides in the PBIX file that we have. Okay. So it's really simple. Whatever data you bring inside the Power BI file, right? That is an imported data. Okay. So this data lies inside Power BI, and there are some advantages and some disadvantages. We'll see that once we have understood all the other options that are available, right? Then next comes our direct query mode. Okay. So these are the basically data storage modes. In any actually dashboarding tool, but still in Power BI, it's a little bit more specific. Let's understand that a little better. Okay. So in direct query mode, it generally, as suggested, right? It's basically a real-time data, right? From any, let's say, online sources, to be precise, right? So there might be multiple sources, some databases that are there. There is some big data sources that you have, like Hadoop and other things, right? Then you have some Synapse related data, like Azure Synapse, clouds, let's say, cloud connections of databases, right? All these things are there, right? So all of these come under the direct query mode, okay? Third and the final, that's a little bit more interesting, right? That's the composite model, which is actually a combination of both. It's really simple to understand. So why now let's understand how these three modes can be used. Okay. So in the import data mode, it's really simple. You can set a few benchmarks, okay, where we need to use the import data mode. Okay. So let's say, for example, your data that you're importing is less than maybe 1 GB or something. Okay. It's small. I don't say it's very huge. It can be some maybe thousands of rows or something, right? It's minimum and it can reside in the file. It will not increase the file size a little bit. It will not, let's say, affect the file opening time and other things, right? So this is one of the criteria of, let's say, the import data, let's say, mode that you have. Second criteria you can put is that the data actually, let's say, does not change frequently. So, for example, in other words, the data is kind of a master data. Okay, there are no multiple refreshes or let's say updates that keep on happening, right? So such kind of data you can generally keep as an import data mode. You can basically import that data into the PBX file. Okay, where can we use the direct query mode? Okay, so if the direct query mode can be used, it can be used in places where the data set is too large to store, basically, right? That's the first point that you can have. Bringing the let's say data into the PBIX file will be huge, right? It can affect the performance of the report that you open in a huge way, right? So basically, data affects. You can think it in that way. I need not say if it's 1 GB or larger. If you have data, the larger the amount of data you store in the PBX file, the slower your file will be. Okay, can think in that way. There are a few ways to optimize the report, but still there is an extent you can do it. There's a, let's say, uh, there's a bar that you can move in. Okay. And coming to the next point that we have. So basically you have, let's say, the source data keeps changing frequently. Okay. Or something like our maybe the reports or dashboards, in other words, must reflect the latest changes. Okay. So such kind of scenario, you can use the direct query mode. Okay. And the composite mode, as the name suggests, is a combination of both, right? Import and direct query. So this is the optimum point. So there are some data that are huge, right? There are some real-time data. There are some, let's say, data that can be reused again and again, right? So such kind of data you can keep in the, let's say, composite model. So basically that connection will decide. For example, for example, if there is a transaction data, for example, a sale data that you have is a transaction data, so that keeps on changing. So that can be in a direct query mode. But let's say if you have a product catalog table, right? That need not be may not change very frequently, or let's say not even product catalog. Let's say territory. Let's say you have the territories table. So those territories may not change very frequently, right? It can change. It can take months maybe to change. So such kind of table, such kind of data can be put in the import mode. So a sweet combination of both is what is we require here. So this is what is the best mode I'll suggest to use based on the requirement. Okay, so if you are basically learning some Power BI file or some use basic stuff, right? You will generally work with the import data mode because the data will be not very huge, right? But if it's an enterprise, generally you will work with a lot of database tables, direct query mode, and other things, right? So composite model you generally see in a normal situation, a real life situation where you, let's say, where your data lies in both a huge quantity in some places and as a lookup file, maybe a small file that does not keep changing on a regular basis. Okay. So this is why I wanted to show you a way to import the tables that we saw using a database connection, right? So for example, I have a table that I have imported using a flat file directly. So if you see, my source is a flat file over here, right? I have imported it from my desktop, right? And if I go to the database table, my source is a SQL database, my MS SQL database, right? So I wanted to show you how to connect to a database connection. So this is the optimum way. You can actually import databases and import flat files. So you can keep data imported in Power BI, or you can actually get data from the real-time source at a regular basis. Okay. So these are the three important, let's say, data connection modes. It's data storage modes, I'll say, in other words, in Power BI. Apart from this, there's a fourth one, but it's not very, let's say, straightforward. It's not very much, let's say, trivial also. So it's basically a live connection. It's not very different from the direct query mode, but still there is a small change. It's actually basically something like you import from some, let's say, a pre-built, let's say, Power BI models, I'll say, that are available online, or maybe something like Power BI service, or Azure analysis service, etc. So this is not very trivial. We generally don't see this in let's say, real-time scenario, but still there is this kind of connection where it's not entirely a direct query mode. but it's actually an entirely built model, or let's say data that is actually refined. You can directly bring to Power BI. Actually, it's not a data, it's actually a, let's say, constructed data. It is actually having a lot of transformations have been done and all those things, right? So that kind of data you bring, it will be a little bit more smaller than the direct query mode, and it becomes a little bit more easy to work with. But there are some kind of, let's say, restrictions to that also. So we will not be seeing this in detail, right? So we'll be looking into the other three, right? Mostly to the import data because we are working with flat files. Clear? Yeah, so that's the first point I wanted to discuss today. Moving on, let's understand, go on to our, let's say, Power BI file. We have been talking a lot now. Let's try to understand the dashboard a little bit. So this is the Power Query editor. So it's actually here, right? We can come to the Power BI file. You can see the transform data option over here. In most of the screens, it will be available as usually, right? Most of the places it is available. You can just click on this transform data. It will take you to the query editor. Okay, so these are the tables that we have. Actually, this table I'm not going to use much, but still, let me just move to group. Okay, so I'll just keep this closed so that it's not necessary. Okay, so also I'll just let's say do this. I'll let you know what this is. Actually, we'll understand later what this is basically. Let's not dig. Actually, it's for not bringing the data always into the front end. It's not necessary, right? It actually affects the performance. Generally, you can do this basically to disable the load into the front end. So we'll see that in detail, why that is necessary and other things. Yeah. So moving ahead, we have the 4 tables that we have, right? The territory and the product tables, right? So now we are going to see an important point, let's say, whenever you import the data, right? Let's say there might be some cases where you have, let's say in this case, for example, you have only 37 rows, right? And in product lookup, you have only 293 rows, or only 4 rows in product categories lookup. But just to put it in simple terms, this might not be the case in every, let's say, table, right? You might have maybe thousands of rows or millions of rows that come into the Power BI Power Query editor, right? It can be from different direct query sources, right? It can be from, let's say, it can be even files that you import, but it has a limit. But still, for example, I can keep on counting. Let's say in this 4 rows are fine. That's not a big problem. Even product lookup 293 is not a big deal. I can actually go and see the data one by one, right? It's not a big problem. But let's say if there is a data point with 500 data points, still, okay, I can do it. Let's go to 1000 data points. I mean, rows, right? Becomes a little bit tricky. Let's move on to 5000 data points. Now things change a little bit, right? So I cannot actually go scrolling down in each row and understand the data if it's fine or not, right? So for example, if I have the product size, it can have some numbers or it can have some alphabets, right? I don't know. So what data type I can give, right? So for example, in the front, I only see the numbers. I cannot put the data type as number, right? So that will not affect. So in such cases, it becomes a little bit difficult to, I mean, go through the whole data, scan the whole data, I mean, through manually, I'm saying, and give a particular, assign a particular, let's say, data type, for example, to that data, that column, if I say, right? For that, Power BI gives us some tools that we can use to statistically analyze the columns that you have. Okay, so these are called data profiling tools. Okay, so before you import the data into Power BI front end, you can work with, we can understand the data a little bit statistically. That is the idea behind the data profiling tools. Okay. So here the tables are okay. These three tables are okay. So let's bring a big table so that just to analyze the data that we have, right? So let's bring our customer table. Okay. So I can bring the table from here actually, right? I can take it from the front end also. There are multiple sources available, right? I can do that, but let's bring it from here for a change, right? So I can do Excel workbook or these things, right? But let's go in and see the connectors once more just in case. Okay. So I have the files. I have a CSV file over here. So my file is a CSV. So I'll click on that, click on connect. So this will, as I mentioned before, this will be doing for a long time. I know we'll be keep doing this till the end because data will be keeping on importing, right? So I have my customer table. I'll just click on this and click on import. Okay. So I have my preview over here. Some basic preview is available. I can see the data a little bit. There is a customer key and other things. Let's say there's a name, first name, last name, birth date, email address is there, income, total children, occupation, homeowner, yes or no, right? There's a customer key field also, right? Just to give a, let's say, highlight, it's actually showing based on first 200 rows, right? It's actually setting the let's say some basic data types and other things based on the first 200 rows. That's what it means. Okay, data type detection is doing. So I'll click on OK. Things are looking good. So here actually you don't see the load and transform buttons that were visible yesterday, right? Since we are already loading it from Power Query Editor, this will basically bring to the transform window only, right? So you need not have that load option. So I'll just click on OK. Yeah, so we have our table imported. I'll just remove the AdventureWorks part, not necessary. Now, at the first look, right, everything looks fine. Most of the things are okay, right? We don't have much of a problem here. So customer key, I can see that it's an integer. The prefix is a text-based thing. Birth date has been sorted as a date. That's good, right? Then we have gender, email address. All of these are fine. Data types are okay, right? Everything looks fine. But there is a fatal flaw in what you are seeing. Okay. So just to give an idea, here bottom left corner it is showing that you are seeing the 13 columns of 999 plus rows. Okay. Can someone identify what is the problem here? It is actually available in front of your screen, but can someone identify the problem?
Can you ask the question again, please?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch that. Yeah, who was that? I didn't catch the.
Yeah, this Paul. I said, can you ask the question? I didn't get the question.
Okay. So what I mean is like, on the first look, the data looks fine, right? All of the data types are properly assigned, and most of the data looks okay, right? But there is a problem in this data. I can identify that from this screen. Actually, there is a line on the screen that identifies that problem. Okay, so can someone point that out? So whatever I'm seeing is not right. That is the point. The data types that are assigned, and let's say some basic things. There are some problems in this file, and that is being shown here. So can someone point that out?
I think
Maybe
there
you
is
can take.
null data at 11025. There is no prefix. That's the one.
Okay. That's good. That's a good point. You can identify that from the look itself. That's good. There is another place where, because see, the point is here. This is actually good point. I understood. That's a good one. We will actually be fixing this, by the way. Okay, in the coming some 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, how to fix that we'll see. Okay, that is right only. I understood. Yeah.
There is a
Blank in the prefix. That's what I think just now someone mentioned. The same thing,
okay.
right? So maybe there is actually a small point. I'll start. Maybe I'll explain it. Okay. Whatever you are seeing, it actually shows that you are seeing 13 columns of 999 plus rows, right? Is it clear till here? So you are actually seeing the 13 columns that are available, right? in the 999 plus rows that are available, right? So it is already showing that there are 999 plus rows. Okay. And what is the next line that it is showing?
Based on top 1000 rows.
Got it. No? So now you identify the issue, what the problem is.
So it is not um, column prop based on top 1000. Means it might be more than 1000, but it is coming only 1000 there. 999.
Correct. Yes, exactly. So basically, whatever profiling has been applied here, whatever data points and other things, whatever you see has been applied here, does not consider the whole data that is available in this data set. It is actually considering only the 1000 data, top 1000 rows that are available. Okay. So just to identify that issue, there are a few tools over here. So if you go to the view tab over here, so in home, there are multiple options. We had seen a little bit. We'll see multiple of them soon. Okay, no need to worry, right? So in the view tab, if you go, there are a few options in the data preview. Okay. So there are a few other options also, query setting, formula bar, always allow parameters, all these things are there. Go to column, query dependencies, you can check. Other things are there. Okay, advanced editor is also there. You can use this for, let's say, writing M code, okay, to get the data. Such things are there. We are actually going to see this data preview part of this section of the view section. Okay. So the first data profiling tool that we will see is called column quality. Okay. So let's say, for example, I actually click on the particular, let's say, customer key. Okay. And I'll just click on this customer column quality. I need not click on the column, but anyway, so it's okay. Just click on the column quality and you'll see some values that pop up in the column, on the column top, right? There are multiple values that see. Now here also it's okay. There are some problems with the prefix, as I mentioned, as someone rightly mentioned, there are some empty values, and it is showing that there are 9 empty values in this data set, right? So there are some 999, 991 valid values and 9 empty values, right? So this is one problem that we are seeing, but otherwise everything looks okay, right? There is no problem at all. This is actually column quality. It actually shows you some basic stuff about the data. Okay. So to see the real problems, just click on this 1000 and select this option called column profiling based on the entire data set. Okay. So if I click on this, now things change a little bit. Now you see there are some problems with the customer key. There are problems with the prefix, problems with the first name, last name also, right? If you go ahead, you can see some birth date problems, you can see some gender problems, marital status has also some problems, right? So most of the rows you see that problem, right? Rising. So this is one important point that people generally miss when they import the data, right? You just apply the profiling or any other, let's say, data profiling tools that are available. And you generally, people miss that point that whatever data that they are seeing is based on some selected amount of, let's say, default data that you are seeing, right? So based on the entire data set, it might be a little bit different. It actually gets missed because uh, Power BI dashboarding files, right, generally have data from multiple sources. So you keep bringing data every time. So let's say, for example, I have seen situations where you have some 100, 120 or 200 tables, okay, data sets. So in that, when you just compare one by one, when you import one by one, you do it in a, let's say, fast fashion sometimes, and you miss such minute details, right? So this is where you generally, when you start working with a Power BI, let's say, start learning Power BI itself, you try to, let's say, uh, make yourself used to such basic things. So something like always checking the values based on the entire data set, right? That's a very important point, right? So profiling will work better. Okay. So there are some problems. Okay. So we will see how to fix that, right? So column quality basically shows the quality of the data, right? What is the validity, right? There are some problems, there are some errors, and there are some empty values, right? But it does not show you what are those problems and how, let's say, you can solve those problems, right? There are some suggestions also. There are some remove errors also, but we will see them. That's not directly. There are some options that you can use there. We'll be using these, right? Let's see. Okay. So let's understand how to find that particular problem that you have, right? So in this case, I have identified that there are some 5 errors. So what are those 5 errors? For that, actually, there is something called column distribution. Okay. If I click on column distribution, things change a little bit. In addition to showing how much, let's say, statistical values you see here, that's the percentage numbers, right? In addition to that, it shows a few plots here, right? It actually provides a sample distribution of the data in a particular column. So let's say, for example, first name, it is showing that there are some numbers. It's showing some distinct and unique values, right? If you just hover on this, it will show some additional data, right? It shows there are some 667, that's 3% of the values are distinct, and 89% are, basically 89 of them are unique, right? So such kind of data you will get using column distribution, right? And if you just right click on this thing, there are some suggested actions also. So we'll be using this soon. Okay, the same thing that we saw with column quality, right? Yeah. So these two options are pretty fine. There is no problem at all. Looks okay. But there is one step ahead. If you want to see the data in a little bit more, let's say, detailed fashion, statistically, right? There is an option called column profiling. Okay, so let's switch it on. Let's see what happens. So this is what is a column profile. Okay. So for example, if I select the first name, it will actually show some values that are in a distributed fashion, right? What are the particular values? It actually shows that there are some count of 18,154 rows, right? There are some distinct as 667 distinct names, right? And unique ones are 89 and empty is 6. And min and max is actually not very relevant in this case because it's not a, say, text. It's not a number, right? It's just a text field. So minimum is always going to be a nothing, right? Basically a space bar or anything. And maximum is going to be the highest alphabetical order, whatever it comes, right? That is what it's going to become. So you will get a distribution of the value. So this is actually not much useful in the case of when you see text, but when you go to numbers or measures, in other words, right? Let's say, for example, annual income, let's say. Now things are a little bit more interesting. You are able to understand things a little bit more. So what it is saying that the minimum income of the customer, let's for example, the customers that you have is 10,000, right? So that is my minimum income that I see in this set, right? And the maximum income is 1,70,000. Okay, basically 170,000. In this case, it's in dollars, so we have not set that yet. We'll be setting that soon. Okay, and some average value of, let's say, annual income it is showing, standard deviation, even, odd, all those things it is showing, right? Now this is actually a little bit interesting. Now there are some distinct 17 distinct, let's say, annual incomes that are available. So actually it is showing us in a, let's say, distributed fashion. So most of our people lie in the 60,000 annual income range. So all these things are a little bit interesting, right? You are able to understand that seeing at the data itself without even creating a dashboard, actually you are getting some data directly, right? So this is where column profile comes into play and you get an idea about what data you're dealing with, right? So most of the cases, column distribution and quality generally serve the purpose and you find the errors and other things, right? So this is where these two shine. So you show that what are the problems and you try to solve it, right? So now moving on to solving the problem. So let's see what are the problems that you have. So let's see what are the empty rows, right? First. So if I just hover on it, or I can just right click, either will work. So if I hover on it, you can see the 3 dots here. That options will also work. Now let's see what are the values that are having the problem, right? So for that, you can just click on this keep errors button. that you have. Click on this, and you'll be able to see the error columns that are available. Okay, so there are some unnecessary rows that were available. So that were the people who were causing the problem. So let's say most of the columns have that problem. So that is what we were seeing, let's say the errors, right? Understand? Most of the columns, right? So I think if we remove these rows, most of the problems might be solved, right? So now there is a small problem. I cannot get the old table back, right? Directly. I cannot right click, or let's say if I remove this is the set that it will work on, right? So if I need to go back, now this is where the applied steps come into play, right? So whatever I have done, it generally keeps the steps over here, right? So I'll just go back, click on this cross, go back one step, right? And here I have my table back. So now I know what are the errors that are coming, that are because of most of the empty values, right? So what I'll do, I'll just right click and remove the errors. Okay, just click on this, remove the errors. That's it. Now my error is 0, right? Let's say most of the cases I see that my error columns are okay. Nothing is left, right? Is there any particular, let's say, column that has error? You can check that. So those rows which had errors, right? We have totally, I mean, errors in all the rows, right? With customer key, right, as the column. We have selected all the rows, and those errors we have eliminated, right? But still we can see some empty values, right? So let's see what are the, let's say, what we can do with that. So basically we can remove those empty values, right? So let's click on this, remove empty. Okay. And let's see what is happening. So basically customer key which is empty has no purpose, right? So you can remove that. So when you work with the data, you have to think realistically. Okay. Not that, okay, there is an error, I need to remove it. Not like that, but there is an error. If I remove it, will it realistically affect my scenario that I'm working with, right? That is where things come to play. Okay, that is where you have to work with. So I did 2 steps, and you can see that 2 steps have been added over here, right? Removed errors and filtered rows, right? Based on the empty and other things. So now I can see most of the rows are fixed, right? There is no validities 100% in most of the cases, right? I can see no more errors or empty, right? Except one place, that is the prefix, right? We have some empty values, and that's okay, right? It's okay. I don't need to have a prefix every time, right? To a name. I can have a single name also, like Siddharth. That's it. Okay. So that's fine. I can just keep it. That's not going to be a big problem for me, right? So that's about it. Customer table looks fine. Now actually you can check the data, let's say data types and other things, right? Just to make sure if everything is okay, right? Everything looks fine. Annual income, total children, educational level, occupation, homeowner. Yeah, everything looks okay. Yeah. Now, just one important thing I wanted to ask everyone, an interesting fact. Okay. So if we go to the column profile, it shows that there are 18,148 count, right? Of let's say rows that are available. Like we have 18,488 distinct customer IDs also. So it's actually matching the row. So row counts are correct, right? And you can actually see some things. Let's check the names and other things. These are fine. 18,048. Yeah. So I wanted someone to, let's say, think and explain what is the difference between 18,148 distinct and 18,148 unique. So what is the difference that you are, let's say, trying to understand? What is the difference here? Can someone think of it? I hope my question is okay, understandable. So how is distinct and unique different? That is the question. I can see that Power BI has given me two separate things, right? Distinct for unique and zero unique, 669 distinct and 89 unique, right? So what is the difference here? What is it trying to say? That is the question. Anyone? Am I mean, my question is okay. Am I audible? Like, it's okay, everyone? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you, Kirti. Okay, so I think maybe the question was, I think, clear, but you guys are thinking, is it? Okay, maybe let's keep this question for the last. Okay, maybe at the end of this session, in 15 minutes, maybe you can answer this. Okay, someone can think about it and answer me. Okay, so basically the question is simple. What is the difference between unique and distinct in the column distribution that you see? Okay, maybe not even answer today. Maybe you can answer tomorrow also. That's okay. Okay, because it's actually important to understand what is the difference here. Why this is shown here separately, right? Let's try to understand that. Maybe tomorrow, let's take it as a small homework. Okay, just understand what is the difference between distinct and unique. Yeah. So that's it. That's about the data profiling tools. I hope most of the things are clear here, right? Three options: column quality, column distribution, and column profile. Saves a lot of time and problems. Let's say, for example, that may come up when you import the data into Power BI. Let's say front end, right? So before, always, let's say when you import a data file, a table that you have, let's make sure that the data is okay, right? So these three options you can always use and find the problems that you have that are there in the file. Okay. So everything looks good. Let's I think the table looks good. Okay. There is no problem over here. So let's switch these options off. Okay. And let's go back, go to home. Let's click on close and apply. So my data is actually loaded to the front end. So as you can see, my data is now available, the customer lookup table, right? There are some minor things we need to change still, right? Some transformations that we need to do. We will do that soon. Okay, so the data is basically loaded to the front end. And I can see there are 80,148 rows, right? And if you see the model view, you have the 5 tables that you have, right? That we want. Okay. So that's about the data profiling tools. Okay. Any questions still here? Any doubts or anything till what we saw just now? If no, then let's proceed to the, maybe we have 10 more minutes. Let's see a few transformation. Let's start a little bit basic transformations if we have, right? So I hope there are no questions, right, till here. So is it clear? Can someone maybe raise the hand if it's clear till here? Maybe from that I can understand. So is it not clear? Any doubts? Paul, is it clear?
Yes, it is.
Okay, okay, that's good. Good to hear. Then Kirti, Girish.
Yeah, all good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good as of now.
Okay, okay. Yovini, Nura, Bhavani. I just want to be sure that what I'm speaking is getting to everyone, right?
Yes, it is
Hope
clear.
it was fine. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I hope Nura, Bhavani, and Samir also have. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So moving ahead, let's try to understand some basic transformations that you can do in Power Query Editor, right? So as I mentioned, the next few hours of the course that we'll be seeing this screen for some time, because the query editor is actually playing a lot of important, let's say, will actually lay the foundation to the PBIX file, right? For example, so that working with that data, I mean, clearing the problems with that data becomes really important as you go on. So we'll be actually spending some time here with the file that we have, the query editor that we have. Okay. So we have the, let's say, tables that we have imported. So let's see, we need to do some basic text transformations. Okay. So let's see some basic text transformations that are available. We'll be using that generally most of the cases, right? So let's do some basic text transformations and work with it, right? So for transformations, generally we have the transform tab over here, and there's an add column option also here. Okay, so if you see, there are some options. Let's say there are some basic replace values. There is a move option. There's a pivot option, right? Fill option is there for empty maybe cells, right? You can fill something. Unpivot columns is there. Transpose, reverse, count, right? Group by is there, right? Some text transformations are there. Text column related things are there. So split column, format, extract, merge, parse, these things are there, right? Based on what you select, right? And the statistics are there, number related things. So statistical functions that you have, some, minimum, maximum, standard, some additional, all those things, right? Basic functions, scientific functions are there, trigonometric, rounding, information related things, right? You can actually have multiple things that you can do with the columns, right? And you have some basic add column functions also. So you have some standard, the same features that you saw in transform, scientific, trigonometric, rounding, information, same things. Date related things are there, right? Transform also has that, date related things, right? All those things are there. Okay. So let's do some basic transformations, right? So in the product lookup, actually, we saw some problems. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, in the customer, right? We had just now imported the customer table and we saw some problems here. Let's say, for example, the case here has some problem, right? The names. So we can fix the names here. So the case, we can capitalize these things, right? So to do that, you can just click on this column, right? And in the transform tab, right? You can just come to the text related things, right? Click on the format and you can see capitalize each word. Lowercase, uppercase also, trim, clean, add prefix, suffix, everything is there. Can someone say what is the difference between trim and clean? If I hover, you'll get the answer. Any idea? Like from the name, what it suggests? Yeah, so I'll just hover on it. You can read it. So basically, trim basically removes the leading and trailing white spaces. Okay. And clean basically removes non-printable characters in the selected column. That's it. That's the only difference. So trim and clean are very useful generally. If you find some, let's say, gibberish data, right? You can just clarify using trim and clean, right? In this case, we'll use the capitalize each word option. So click on this capitalize, and that's it. So my prefix column is solved, no problem at all, right? Similarly, I can do with the first name and last name, right? So let's maybe do multiple at once, right? Click on two, shift click, or just let's say control click, maybe, right? That's okay. So format, capitalize each word. That's it. As simple as that. We have actually achieved our first transformation, text related transformation by removing the upper cases in all the data, let's say, that we see, right? That was the first thing. Then we have, we can actually make the, let's say, one column with the full name, right? Because three separate name, let's say, name field is not required, not necessary, right? So what you do, you can actually add a new column, right, to create the field that you want. So I'll just click on these three, right? Let's say, how can I do that? Basically, I can do that using the merge option, right? So I have multiple things over here, but I can't see the merge option because I have selected only one row, right? If I select two rows, you can see the merge columns option over here, right? I can actually click on this, two of them, right? I need actually both of them, basically all the three of them. So I'll click on three, right? And click on this merge columns. There is no separator, there's no needed. Name it as full name. Click on OK. Oops, I did a mistake. So what we started doing, we wanted to make a new column, right? But the problem is now, actually I have a problem. It actually removed the old columns and added a new column. So that is not what I wanted, right? So what was the problem I did? Can someone say? Did someone identify the problem that I did?
You have
So the problem is
overwritten.
simple. Yeah.
You have overwritten in the existing column.
Correct. So what should I have done?
Edit
So
new cell.
so basically this brings us to a very important point that generally, as I mentioned before, right, the general mistakes that we do. This is one of another very big, very general, common, let's say simple, fundamental mistake that people commit, right, when they work with it. So there are two options available in the same place, as I mentioned before, right? So in the transform tab, we saw the merge columns, right? In the add columns also, if you see, there's an option called merge columns. So depending on which, let's say, screen you are on the, let's say, the ribbon that you are on, right? You will use that button, that option, and that creates a problem, right? So generally, it is very, let's say, easy to lose track of where you are choosing that option from, right? So what you generally do, you, for example, not now, actually, I wanted to create a new column. I actually use that from the transform and actually transformed the available columns that are available in the that I wanted to get the data from, right? So better do the correct, choose the options from the correct location. That is really important, especially in these two tabs, in the transform and add column. It is actually very easy to lose track of what you're doing. Okay. So in this option, I have the merge column option. So I'll click on merge column. Now there is a separator. So maybe I can give a space, right, for the name. I'll rename it as full name. Or in this case, they have used Pascal case. No? So just move the space. Click on OK. Now you can see there is no change over here, but there is a new column added, but it would be at the end. That's why we are not able to see it. And we have a new column called full name. So we saw two things basically. We saw some basic capitalized transformation, and we saw the merge option that we have available over here. Right, everyone? Following till here? Any doubts? Anything till now? So I can pull this name to the left. Yeah. No doubts, right? It's okay. I hope. Yeah. I'll just pull it to the left nearby the name field. Yeah. So I have the name, right? And things look okay. That's it. Right. So I can just click on apply. That's it. Just to save the data, right? And just like that, I have the customer full name. Let's see one last thing. Okay. Today, we'll continue it tomorrow. One last thing we can see. Let's extract the domain name from the email address, right? Actually, it's actually useful in some cases. Like, we will see that soon. Okay. Let's extract the domain name alone from the email address. Let's see how we can do that. Any suggestions how we can do that?
I think there is an extract option in the
Which one?
add column.
Okay, add column. That's good. I need not lose the email address, right? I might use it further, right? So in the add column is the correct option. So we have the extract option over here. Thank you. Whoever that was, didn't see the name. Thank you.
Yeah.
So email address is there. I can just click on the extract option. And there are some options that are available over here. This length, free characters, last characters, right? The range is there. And we have the two important options: text before delimiter, text after delimiter, and text between delimiters. So these three options are really important. So this is what we'll be using. So which one of these can we use now based on the thing that we want? So
You
maybe
can
just
use
for the sake
text
of, yeah, text
after
after
the
delimiter.
limiter. Yeah.
Okay, that is okay, fine. Okay, we'll do that maybe first. Okay, let's do that. Text after delimiter. And my delimiter will be what? At the rate, yeah. So click on this, click on at the rate. There are some advanced options also. You can choose that, right? From the start, you can give some number of, let's say, you can skip some number of at the rates. Okay, that can be done. So you can do some things like that. So in this case, it's not necessary. There will be only one at the rate. So that's good. Okay. You'll click on OK. And you can see a new, this has been added, but the name I didn't give, right? It was not necessary, right? So now I need the domain name alone, right? That .com needs to go, right? So for that, what I can use among these? Yeah, I can use text before delimiter. That's really simple, right? I can just use the dot that is available over there, right? So whatever comes before the dot, I can use it. So I can click on OK, and I have my domain name over here, right? Or in other simple way, I can just remove the two steps and do it in one step with the which option?
In between.
Yeah, in between the delimiters. I can do it in one single step. So at the rate I can use, and at the dot I can use to shift it. The start and end is okay. In this case, there's no problem. But I need to give a name that I cannot give here. I'll just click on OK. And I have my domain name over here. And if I double click, I can change the name to domain name. That's it. Just like that, I have my domain name from the email. So extract that way is useful. We saw extract, merge, some basic lower uppercase and other things, right? These are some basic text transformations that you generally keep using. Okay, we will be using it very frequently. Right. So yeah, let's stop here then. Maybe any questions or anything? Let's take 2 minutes to maybe answer some questions or anything you have.
If data is not
Can
in
we
the
get the
schedule,
previous
Yeah.
two classes and then the resources for those sections?
Can you come again, Paul?
I was saying, can we get the previous two sessions, like Monday and Tuesday?
Okay.
I don't know when this started, like when those sessions, so that we could catch up.
Yeah. Actually, there is actually these sessions that we take have been recorded, right? We are recording the session, you can see, right? So
Okay.
you can find this recording in YouTube. These demo sessions are free, so you can just look into it. I think we have completed 3 sessions, I think, right? Including today, I'm not sure 3 or 4. Yeah. So you can have these
Okay.
videos as a playlist. If you are available in the WhatsApp group, are you available, Paul?
No.
Okay. In that case, maybe I will inform. I'll just take a screenshot just in case the people who are available. Okay, no problem. And I'll note the names of the people who have joined. If you guys have not gotten or you have not joined the group, maybe, right? I'll inform the team to, or just, if you're not, maybe just ping on this, maybe. So how did you, let's say, get informed, Paul, about the session?
LinkedIn.
On mail, right?
On LinkedIn, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then I think you can reply them on that, and maybe you can tell them to add you as part of a group. Okay, so you
Okay,
can get
I'll do that.
they generally share that URL at a regular basis. You can get it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Girish, you were asking something.
In this case, whatever the last example you have shown, so it is having more structured data. So, for example, if we get in between some kind of a dot within the name also. So
Yeah.
in that case, how it will take? So we have to do some kind of manual or any additional coding we need
There
to.
are some additional text options actually you can use. We will see some of them. If, for example, your data is very much, let's say, unstructured, right? You might have to write some maybe basic
For
code.
example,
Maybe.
if you come to the column where we extracted, no, just no. If you can come to that column.
This one, email address.
The last one. No, only this thing, right? Yeah. Here adventures works is there. No? So, for example, adventure dot works then dot com, if that was a thing in between.
Okay. That's a good use case. That's a good use case. So for that, if you want, actually you can use this, let's say add column. We have the extract, we have the text between delimiters. You have the advanced option over here. So this is what I mentioned. So what this does is basically it will scan for a particular delimiter, and from the start you can skip some number of delimiters.
Okay.
So that you can do. This kind of this actually even I'll not say some regular expression kind of thing, but this is actually a good feature directly they have provided as a, let's say, direct use case. I need not even write any simple code or anything, some regular expression or anything, right? So these are some basic necessities. So they have given it as part of this. So start from the input or start from the end, you can do, right? Both of the things. So, and in case you find, for example, some characters in between that should not be there, right? So some dot or let's say something else, right? Which was not supposed to be there in this. You can always replace or let's say do all those things, right? For example, you can maybe replace values, right? That are available. Some replace values with something. We will see that soon, right? How to replace, right? Then you can split the column based on some delimiter, right? You can do such things. There are multiple things you can do. So most of the things you can solve using these options over here. Or in case you're not able to do that, you might maybe even prompted to do some maybe coding. So there are some scripting available, some basic Python or R scripts, and you can get the thing done, right? So in case, for example, we will be actually writing a script, not here, actually not in Power BI. We'll be doing that in the Azure part, where in Databricks, right, we'll be writing that to do some basic transformation like this, what you saw. Right? So that's it. I think any other questions anyone wants to ask? Any other questions anyone? Okay, so maybe then let's stop here today. Let's meet tomorrow. I don't know whether tomorrow there will be a session or not. But in case if anyone has missed the videos or anything, please connect with the Isha team, right? They'll provide you with the let's say meeting URL, the let's say the video playlist that we has been done already, right? And yeah, also the files that have been uploaded that I have been using, right? This folder actually has been shared with the team. So they can share it with you with after maybe I think once you have enrolled or something, right? You can just check it with the team. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you then, guys. Let's meet tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.